Thank you. 2 years ago, I was working in the energy sector, in an office. I was just an ordinary person, just like you. And then something happened to me one day that was quite life-changing. I was called into an office and I was offered a redundancy package of £7,684. So what do you think I did? I took it. I had to. So I went home that evening to discuss my career options with my family, and I was at a complete loss. I didn't know which way to turn. And then I realised that this was an opportunity. That with this money, I had the rare moment to give back, to help the community, to change lives. How? Erotic fiction. So, of course, I invested the entire redundancy package into a MacBook Pro for myself and also a printing press so I would be able to self-publish my own erotic fiction novels. And here I am, the UK's unofficial erotic fiction laureate, Pamela DeMenthe. Yeah. Wow. So I've had quite a tremendous 2 years in that time. I've self-published over 28 books. I really am just bashing them out. I'm sure you've heard of them. We've got Panties Inferno. We've got my favourite, Filling Me Softly at the Esso Garage. That one's really special for me actually because that's the story of how my mum and dad met. So, and then of course my seminal novel Sticky Digits, which really has been my major success story. And now I'm embarking on a brand new novel. It's a prehistoric, time-travelling erotic fiction story set in Hull, titled eVULVAlution. And I'm really excited because we've actually got a brand new sponsor on board with eVULVAlution. So actually, do you know what? Sorry, I'm just gonna stop for a moment. Can I just ask you to put your hands up if you've ever read a book? Oh, that's really all the way through. Okay, no, that's great. It's usually a drop off. Just so I know where to pitch this. Brilliant. Okay, put your hands up if you've ever read an erotica book. Okay, straight up at the front there. Definitely a few liars in the room. Okay, put your hands down if you've ever not never read one of my books. Oh my God. Oh wow, it's so humbling to see so many fans in this evening. It truly, truly is. Honestly, wow, I really can't believe that. We've actually extended this evening's show to include a 3-hour Q&A. And guys, this is really your opportunity to get inside me. So I'm just going to throw myself up to the floor for questions. So please, hands up for questions. Oh yeah, there's a question just down the front row here.
Where did you find inspiration to write the forbidden book?
Am I going to read an excerpt from one of my books? So sorry, this is really unexpected. I didn't plan for this at all, but yeah, of course I will. So this is an excerpt from eVULVAlution, so I do hope you enjoy. eVULVAlution, Chapter 1. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, 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 ah, ah, ooh. Sorry, I'm just going to stop there for a second. You know when you have an idea of how something's going to sound in your head, but then when it comes out, it's not quite right. The sound needs to be much stronger than that. It needs to be quite masculine and echoing. So it'd be really great if you could just help with that noise, just for just quick coaching. You just need to really dig deep from the diaphragm. So it's like guttural grunting. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Let's have a quick practice. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Very strong. Very strong. Okay, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, so just sustain that for a few minutes longer. Okay, so eVULVAlution, Chapter 1. Ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ah, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Chapter 2. Sandra woke with a jump. A film of sweat clung to her top lip, and a moisture lingered in her lower chasm, as the sound of primeval grunts melted away from her consciousness like a mini-milk on a muggy day. It was the fourth lusty dream that week. She supposed it was because of her thesis, which was titled The Sexual Behaviour of Neanderthals, was only 1 week away from submission. With the deadline looming, she was feeling the pressure, particularly as her latest feedback from her professor, the smouldering Dr. Gregg, was that her thesis lacked a certain authenticity. She was really going to need to work on that if she was going to become the youngest, sexiest paleontologist at HIP, the Hull Institute of Paleontology. She got up and walked into town because she was late for her tutorial with Dr. Gregg. Once inside the university campus, she walked along the long, dark corridor to Dr. Gregg's office. Stood outside, she steeled herself, waiting to be hit with the impending sensuality of Dr. Gregg. Even though it'd been great having these one-to-one sessions, she was distracted by Dr. Gregg's potent sexuality. God, he literally oozed wisdom from every pore. So much so that she actually often fantasized about taking tiny imaginary straws, inserting them into each pore and then sucking up his wisdom until it filled up her own nubile and spongy brain. But she knew that was impossible. Sandra had never sat in a time machine before, but it was really turning her on. She leaned forward and exhaled her hot breath onto the plastic windscreen. And then took her fingers and traced a drawing of a pair of tits into the condensation, sensing this could arouse Dr. Gregg. She was right. His face was all purple and blotchy, and his varicose vein was now throbbing in his temple. Sandra, emboldened by the sexiness of the situation, said, "Gregg, why don't you join me in here?" Gregg nervously edged towards her, and Sandra, fearless, she reached out, she grabbed his lapels, kicked away his walking stick, and sent him buckling on top of her. Easily double his body weight, she managed to flip him over onto his back. She gyrated menacingly on top of him, and her bare knees made fart-like squeaks against the seats. "It's just the leather," she clarified, so as not to kill the mood.